everyone. I hope you can hear me. Welcome to Stay at Home Stress Busters and welcome to Cambridge at Home. If this is your first session of the day, welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. If you've been to some others, I hope that you've also found them useful as well. My name is Jenny Mutlu Collins and I'm here today to give you some tips and techniques for managing stress during lockdown, which you all know is a very unusual situation for all of us. Some of the session we're going to be practicing some techniques which might require you to be a little bit active. So if you do have some space to move around, that would be really good. If not, don't worry too much. You can always try it again later. You can catch the recording or you can try it again at your leisure. And it's lovely to see so many of you joining from around the world. It's really exciting to be part of this event. Right, let's look at what we're going to do in this session. Well, I'm hoping that we're going to go on a journey where you can find your flow. And when we find our flow, we become more calm, more relaxed, we feel more in control. Everything seems a lot less scary than it can be otherwise. There's going to be a little bit of theory. We're going to look at stress busting, you know, what's the problem? Why do we feel stressed? And then what's the solution? Then we're going to move into what I call a mindfulness flow. And this is a set of really practical exercises that will help you actually manifest this finding your flow in your life. You know, what do you actually need to do in order to feel less stressed? And these are techniques that you can take away with you and practice anytime, any place, anywhere. Then after we've been through those techniques, we've got some tips. There are lots of general things that you can do in order to relieve stress and anxiety, lifestyle tips, things that you can use now and things that you can use in the future. And then at the end, I'll be really happy to take any questions about anything that we've covered today. But it would be great if you could save your questions for the end, because there are an awful lot of people on the call and we need to sort of be able to stop and look at those questions very mindfully and in good time. Okay, so firstly, who am I and why am I here talking to you about stress busting? Well, my name is Jenny Mutlu Collins, as I said at the beginning. I'm a Reiki master teacher, which is a holistic therapy, very good for relaxing. And I'm also a meditation and wellbeing trainer. And I create quite innovative programs such as body wisdom training and Reiki for work and life, which are designed to actually bring some of these holistic techniques and actually help you embed them in your daily life so that they're easy to use. It's not just something that's out there that you have to make time for. It's like, how do I bring that into practically into my everyday life so that it's actually useful to me when and where I need it. These are techniques that help you sort of feel and perform better. So that's just about me and a bit about my background. And I'm also, why am I here, Cambridge at Home? I'm also a senior marketing manager in our Cambridge exams publishing team. So that's my other side. Right, so we're here to talk about stress busting. A lot of people are feeling a lot of stress at the moment. People experience a lot of stress anyway in their daily lives just because of our modern lifestyle, but in particular now during quarantine and lockdown, we do have some particular stresses which we're feeling. It's a very unusual situation. Most of us never experienced anything like this in our lifetimes. So, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. We don't know what's happening. We don't know when it's going to end. We don't know what the future is going to look like. It gives us a sense of a lack of control. You know, we don't know where things are going. Everything's changed and we don't have the same sense of control we normally do when we know what the next day is going to look like. There's a sense of threat, you know, there's a dangerous virus out there. Some people are under financial threat, and there are all sorts of things happening which are different. So this is another trigger that happens for us at the moment. People are feeling a lot of pressure. You know, maybe they're at home with children, they're trying to work at the same time. There are lots of things going on. People can be under even more pressure than usual. Some people are experiencing illness. I mean, there's a lot of it around at the moment. Again, that's another trigger for people. It's a stressor in our lives. And again, most of us are experiencing some form of isolation. We are not able to see the same people that we normally have. Some people live alone, and, you know, we just don't have the same social and work opportunities that we would normally have. We're cut off from our families, many of us. So all of these issues can lead to some really unpleasant emotions, and feeling, stress and anxiety, you know, pure fear at times. These things can overwhelm us. Low mood, depending on the situation. Sense of overwhelm, you know, what's happening, there's too much going on. This is very common from a lot of people I'm talking to, just a sheer sense of, you know, I feel as if maybe I'm not even doing as much as I normally do, but I feel very overwhelmed at the moment. Conversely, some people are experiencing boredom, and you can feel this at the same time. You know, you can't get out and do the things that you normally do. So again, that's another negative feeling that can come up at this time. And then there's a sense of conflict and loneliness. If you're not around the people that you want to be around, you can feel very isolated and lonely, or you might be with people for more of the time than you're usually with them, and this can create conflicts, especially with the pressures that we're under. So these are the problems that we have at the moment. So there's a lot there. What are we going to do about this stress that we're under? What is the solution? So there's a kind of framework of ideas that you can take, and these are things that will help you manage your stress if you can put them into your life, into application in your life in a practical way. So I'm going to talk you through them now. And of course, the techniques that we are going to do after this will actually help bring you and practice some of these things. So the first thing is you have to switch off your head. Your head is not your friend at a time like this. It's your worst enemy. You have to take your head and put it over there. You see, over there. You don't want to be thinking about problems. You don't want to be analysing things. You don't want to be predicting the future. Your head is very good at making you feel bad about life. And a lot of these practices are about getting out of your head. The second thing you can do is to live in what I call the micro moment. So this means, you know, you've probably heard about living in the moment, which is really good advice. Doing it is a different thing, being able to do it. But if you think about the micro moment, this can really help you. It's when you really stop and experience every micro moment very intensely. So whatever you're doing, you do it very slowly and very carefully and with your full attention and focus. So if you are doing the washing up, you stop and you feel the water on your hands and you feel the soap bubbles and you look at the dishes and you do it very slowly and mindfully, appreciating every action that you're taking. If you're writing an email, you're not just thinking about the words you're writing, but focus your fingers on the keys. You know, focus on the actions that's happening, the tapping away, the movement of your fingers, and just focus on that one thing very slowly and intensely and carefully. So this is one way to get into the micro moment, and we'll look at this later as well as part of our techniques. The third thing is breathing. None of us are breathing enough. That sounds like a big statement to make, but most of us are breathing very lightly and shallowly. We're not getting deep breaths, we're not getting enough oxygen, and we're holding a lot of tension in our body. So we need to breathe in order to release that energy. Fourth thing is we need to ground ourselves so that we feel safe. You might think, oh, how can that make me feel safe? But trust me, if you learn a technique of grounding, it can immediately make you feel better in terms of how anxious you feel, or how worried you might feel about your current situation or the future. We're going to practice this again in our techniques. The fifth thing we need to do is learn how to slow down. Now, usually when you feel very stressed and your mind starts to whir, you start to think you need to speed up. You need to do things quicker. You can get a little bit frantic, trying to get through all of the jobs that you need to do. Sometimes you're being pulled in different directions and you don't know where to go. And it's counterintuitive, but if you slow down, you can become more effective. You can find yourself choosing the most effective course of action, the next most useful thing to do, the way to get yourself into a better place so that when you do feel more relaxed and calm and confident, then the action you take will be more effective. So slowing down is another key part of this process. The next thing, we're going to try and find our flow. I said at the beginning of the session, we're going to try and find our flow. This is what we're building towards, because when you find yourself in a rhythm, in a flow, in a momentum, your creative energy starts to move much more quickly. You start to get better intuitions and ideas. You allow your feelings to flow, and they all help you to do the things that you need to do. They help you to help your children. They help you in your work. They help you as you manage all of your tasks on your to-do list, and it helps conquer that feeling of overwhelm. It also keeps you from thinking about the future or the past, and just helps you be in the flow, in the moment, being effective with what you're doing. And then finally, we have to remember to be kind to ourselves. Don't be critical of ourselves, and be very kind with the people around us, because this will help everything flow better and more calmly, with less stress and conflict. So that's what we're aiming to achieve here. How are we going to do this? Well, as it says there, to get out of the mind, which is the gold standard, what we need to do is get into the body. And all of these practices, which we're going to try now, are designed to help you get into the body, get in touch with your body, and use more of those intuitive, creative juices that help keep you calm and happy and balanced. Okay, so I hope you will like to try these exercises with me now. They're very simple exercises, and they are simple on purpose, because this means that you can use them anytime, any place, and anywhere. You know, you can stop anytime you start to feel stressed, anytime your mind starts worrying. You can start to get into these techniques and just learn to relax. Helps you find your flow. So the first of these, body breathing and grounding. So what I would like you to do, you can do this sitting down, but straighten your back. Straighten your back so you're sitting up nice and tall. And start to take some really deep breaths. Put your hands on your stomach. So like this, just rest them on your stomach. And take some deep breaths. And let yourself feel your stomach rising and falling. Rising and falling. Inhale, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2. Inhale, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2. Inhale and exhale. And keep your hand on your stomach so that you know that the breath is reaching your stomach. And then you can close your eyes if you want to at this point. Carry on breathing in, 2, and out, 2. In, 2, and out, 2. And as you're breathing, start to feel down into your body. Imagine that every cell of your body can start breathing. So imagine that you're pushing air down into your arms, into your hands, and into your fingers. Inhale and exhale. And then pushing the energy, that oxygen, down into your legs and into your feet. And then with your eyes closed, just imagine that it's actually your arms and your legs and your feet and your hands that are doing the breathing. So as you inhale in, imagine that the breath is coming in through those parts of your body. And as you exhale out, imagine that you're breathing out through your hands and your fingers and your toes and your legs. And you can almost feel them tingling with that energy as you breathe in and out. In and out. So as you are doing this, breathing in and breathing out, start to allow yourself to feel. So you want to get yourself, push yourself all the way down. You could imagine that you're looking down on yourself like this, either with your eyes closed, in which case you imagine it, or you look down on yourself from the inside. And what you think of as you push down into your body, in and out, breathing in and out. You're no longer just you in your head. You're just a breathing body that's feeling very relaxed. And then allow any feelings that you have to just rise up. Mostly when people are feeling stressed, they're holding some kind of feeling. They're trying to resist it because it creates a tension in the body. But if you allow yourself to breathe it in and let it go, breathe it in and let it go, then this actually allows that feeling to be released much quicker, and you start to feel more relaxed more quickly. So slow down and breathe with your body. Slow down and feel. Get in touch with the breath. Take deep breaths. And then you are ready for technique 2. So we've already talked about pushing ourselves down, but what I want you to do now is focus intently on your feet. We've talked about breathing through all of our body. Now just think about your feet and feel the ground supporting your feet and feel how strong it is. Feel how strong the ground is supporting your feet, and feel the weight of you pushing down, pushing right down onto the ground, and feel the strength of that connection between you and the ground. Now start to breathe through your feet as we were doing before, but just thinking about the feet now, and push everything that you think of as you all the way down to your feet so that your mind is in your feet. All the way down, no thoughts at all in your head, just breathing in to, out to, through your feet, into and out to. And as you are breathing through your feet, you can then, you feel this lovely connection with the ground, this lovely contact with the ground. It feels very strong and grounding. This is what you need to do, in and out. This helps you dodge the mind. It's a very nice quick fix. So anytime when your mind starts to whir, you can just immediately say stop and start breathing through your feet, and it immediately starts to clear all of that mental spinning that's happening, or any negative feelings that you're having. Now, you can make it a bit of a game. You know, your mind will try and keep talking, it will try and keep analysing, but what you need to do is say, I'm not doing that, I'm breathing through my feet. So, you know, make it a game. I'm going to dodge the mind and I'm going to think through my feet and breathe through my feet. Now, this is going to bring us on to our next technique, which I call walking meditation, and the name gives it away somewhat. But now that you're grounded and you're breathing through your feet, start letting those feet move around. Let your feet and your legs move around. Now, I'm not going to move too far from the camera because you won't see me at all. But if you are able to stand up and move around, please do feel free to do that now. Let your feet just start to move around. Feel where they want to take you. Where do your legs want to take you? Where do your feet want to take you? Carry on very mindfully walking around. So this is not what people sometimes do when they start pacing around when they're nervous or anxious. This is slowing it down and doing it in a very slow, mindful way where we're not thinking of ourselves at all. We've pushed ourselves down to our feet, we're breathing through our feet, and we're allowing our feet to do some thinking for us. So if you have a decision to make, if you need to decide what to do next, if there's too much going on, if your people are calling you over here and there's people calling you over here, maybe you've got work on one side, children on the other, all sorts of household tasks going on at the same time. What do you want to do next? And what is happening in the world? It's too much. Go down into your feet, breathe through your feet, start walking around. Where do they want to take you? Do they want to take you around the room? Do they want to take you into a different room? If you have a garden, do they want to take you into the garden? If you have an upstairs, do they want to take you there? Where do they want to take you? As you start moving around, a feeling can start to come up from your feet of what is the most useful, kindest action that you can take next. Always ask yourself, what is the kindest thing I can do now? And this is a great question, you know, because that is often the most effective thing you can do now. Maybe it's not to run through your to-do list. Maybe it's to go and have a rest. Maybe it's to go and cook yourself a nice meal. Maybe it's to just stop and breathe, or to go and do some yoga, and then you'll feel better and you'll be able to do what you need to do afterwards. So try and tap into your flow, that lovely connectedness you feel with the ground and your feet and your body. Allow the feelings to arise, and try and be effective. Now, moving on to the last practice now, which I call stop and stare, and it really helps get us into this micro focus that I've talked about. I don't know if you know this poem here. What is this life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. And at the moment, some of us do have time to stand and stare, some more than usual. Some of us are busier than usual. So we need to make time to do this. But this technique teaches us to appreciate the moment. And what we need to do is find something ideally beautiful, something that we have very positive feelings about, and just stop and look at it for a moment. So, you know, this could be something like a flower, it could be a plant. If you have a garden, you could go out there and find a part of nature that you want to look at. If you aren't able to go outside, you could look out of your window. What is the view like? Is there a view that you can stand and look at for a moment? Maybe it's a member of your family that you really love, or it could be a photo of them, it could be a picture on the wall. Just find something that has a positive energy for you, and just stop and appreciate it for a moment. What is the color? What is the texture? What is lovely about this thing? And we're not looking at it in an analytical way, and we're looking at it in a very relaxed way. And this puts our brain and our mind and our energy into a very receptive, relaxed focus, which has an immediate calming effect. It brings us into the moment. It makes us appreciate the moment. And then while we are looking at this object, it can be something that's near to us, it could be something that's a little bit further away. But as we're doing this, we're getting a sense of appreciation, we're getting a sense of gratitude, and that's always a positive feeling. And then we can start to bring that sense of appreciation to ourselves. You know, how well are we doing? What have we managed to achieve? You might think you're not achieving anything. You might feel slightly inadequate with how you're coping at the moment. But, you know, appreciate yourself, everything you have done. Did you cook yourself a nice meal? Did you actually manage to answer a few emails? You know, give yourself some really nice points and hugs and well dones for everything that you have achieved today and this week and this month. You know, it's not easy what we're going through at the moment. So stop and stare. It's a very nice practice. And again, you can do it anytime, any place, anywhere. Just turn around, look around. What does your eye fall on? What can you appreciate just for that moment? Okay, we don't have much time left, so I'm going to run through some very quick tips on general things that you can do for your anxiety and stress and anything you're feeling, not just now, but in general. First thing is about nourishing yourself, making sure that you are giving your body and your energy system what it needs. So obviously, you know, some of this is very obvious, fruit and vegetables, but never underestimate the effect of eating and drinking well. Drink pure water, avoid having too much caffeine. Too much sugar can make you feel more stressed, as it's a stimulant. Alcohol as well, it makes you feel better immediately, but it can make you feel more anxious over time. So that's the first tip. There are lots of anti-anxiety foods. I don't have time to go into them all here, but it's worth having a look online if that's something that interests you. Also listen, try listening to something new. If you like classical music, try listening to pop music. If you like pop music normally, try listening to folk or world music. Try something different, because again, this is something that will shift your mind out of its current state. There are lots of relaxation music, types of music that you can find on YouTube. And there's something very interesting called binaural beats, where you have a different beat in this ear and a different one in this ear, and it kind of confuses the mind into going into a more relaxed or focused state. And there are lots of different kinds of beats for different purposes. Again, move. We tried a walking meditation. Some of this is obvious, some of it less so. Try yoga. There are lots of free videos on YouTube. There are lots of online yoga lessons. Walking, if you can't go outside, walk inside. Try the walking meditation. Stretching, Pilates. You can try dancing. There's a lot there. If you're working in one room, you start to feel tense, get up, move around, change rooms. A change of scene, even within your own home, can work wonders. And then what else do we have? Be. So this is part of what we've been talking about with the practices. Just slow down and observe. Try the stand and stare. Just be in the moment. Stop thinking. Don't take responsibility for everything that's happening in the world. It's not all down to you. Just allow yourself to be and flow. Feel, savor those micro moments, you know, sipping your cup of tea, looking at the flower, looking at the view. Practice gratitude. It's something that has been proven scientifically to make people feel happier very, very quickly. If you every day just make a list of all of the things that you feel grateful for, it can really start to lift your spirits very quickly. And finally, articulate. So, you know, talk to yourself if you have to, find someone to talk to, sing out loud, you know, just start that movement of energy, chant, journal, you know, write something down. It helps get it out of you and onto paper. Share your feelings with someone if possible, give them a phone call, Zoom, Skype, all of those things that are going on. Lots of great tips there just to help you lighten your mood and alleviate that anxiety. So finally, to round up, what do we need to do? Don't think about breathing. Lots of people think, oh, I'm going to go and do that, you know, in next week when I'm less busy and less stressed. And what you need to do is actually do it now. So your mind will try and carry on thinking and tell you you can't do it. We're going to dodge the mind. Just start breathing. Just do it. You know, start breathing through your feet. That's the way in. Don't analyze your problem. Drop into the body and just immediately start and benefiting from those calmer insights. Don't speed up as your mind wants you to do. Slow down, find the flow. Try some of these practices. Let your feet do the talking. Get out of your mind. Give yourself that inner hug. Be kind to yourself. Don't criticize. Don't judge. Don't allow yourself to feel overwhelmed and just take all of the pressure. You don't need to do that. And practice, 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 because this does not come naturally. You need to retrain yourself to feel rather than think. So that brings us to the end of this session. Obviously, if you would like to stay in touch for more tips and advice, you can join Facebook group there at the bottom. You can follow me on LinkedIn. We don't have a lot of time left, but if there are any questions, I might be able to take them quickly. It's been lovely, really lovely to see so many of you on the call today, and I really hope you found it useful. Let me just have a look at some of these questions and see what we can find. So someone has said, what is the right way of breathing? Well, there are lots of different ways that you can breathe better, and there are many ways you can try. Like I say, counting the breathing in to, out to, and focusing on breathing deeply into your chest, into your stomach is a very good way of improving your breathing. And if you find the benefits of breathing useful, then there are different techniques that you can try. For example, you can breathe in 4 and breathe out 4. You can breathe in 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4 and hold for 4. There are lots and lots of variations, but do it consciously, do it mindfully, and try and breathe more deeply than you would normally do, opening your chest. Okay. Someone's asking, do I have a YouTube channel with these techniques of relaxing? No, I don't. But if you do want to join the Facebook group, then you'll be in touch for any other live trainings and techniques that I offer. Someone, as Sheila is saying, how can we integrate these exercises into a class or virtual class? You could try them if you want to try them with students. You could try them at the beginning of your lesson. It's a very good way of bringing students into a focused state, bringing them into the classroom from whatever they've been doing beforehand, and just bringing them into the present moment. So you could just start your class with some of these techniques. Pick one. I wouldn't do all of them because it will take too much time, but you could start with the grounding and breathing, for example. Or you could make it fun in the middle of the class. Say, okay, everyone stand up, let's try a walking meditation. So there are lots and lots of ways that you can just integrate them into a class. Someone says, I always feel nervous and tired when I focus on breathing. Is this normal? I would say if that happens to you, focus on the grounding. So don't just focus on the breathing in your chest and your body, but really try and ground yourself, because this can really help to alleviate anxiety. I think that would be something to try. You know, focus on your feet, focus on that connection with the ground. Maybe think about your breath in your chest less, but think about your feet more. You give that a try. What about young learners? Again, you can usually scale these techniques down. I mean, anyone can learn to breathe. You can get children to lie down and feel their hands on their belly. You can get them to do, I don't know if you can see this, a breathing balloon, where they open and close there, as if they're blowing up a balloon when they breathe. There are lots of adaptations for children if you want to try that. Okay, let me just see if there are any other last minute questions. Could it be that some students find annoying the fact, do students find it annoying to try to relax before an exam? It's possible. In that case, as with the issue of feeling nervous when you focus on your breath, I would focus on the grounding aspect, focus on the feet and a walking meditation. So you're not less thinking about relaxation, but more about getting into the flow. Okay, so think less about your breathing, the in and the out, which can, you know, if you're focusing on something else and you're just about to go into an exam, you obviously need to get into the zone. But if you focus on feet, maybe do some walking meditation, just become slow and mindful and try and build your confidence from the ground up. This can really help. Okay. All right, I think that's all we've got time for. Thank you all for coming so much. Please look out for the other sessions that we've got going on today. There's still a couple more before we finish with our Cambridge at Home. And of course, there are lots of recordings on YouTube. And if you are feeling stressed, if you want to help your students relax, you know, just try things, try different things, practice, practice, practice. And as we say in the exams team, practice makes perfect. It doesn't come naturally. We have to retrain ourselves, put the mind somewhere else, get into the feet and find our flow. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And if you'd like to keep in touch, please do.